If he does not respond, given the crazy run he's been on for the last 2 years in a direct manner, I personally think this will be a stain on his legacy forever.
Yo.
We are the Lamar's Wise Guys.
Check out the full podcast. Link below.
But first, We Don't Trust You, the new collab album by Metro Boomin and Future, just dropped. 17 songs, I believe, featured. I think you got Kendrick, Lamar, you got
Travis Scott.
You got Travis Scott,
Playboy
Cinderella.
Cardi. Yeah, Playboy Cardi, The Weeknd, Rick Ross. Rick Ross dropped a fantastic.
That is true. He was on that album. I think besides the fact that album was really, really good, everybody is talking about the one verse on Like That by Kendrick Lamar because he shook Ish up. And he aimed fire at Drake and Cole. So Q, man, let's just get right to him. Just give me your first impressions of the verse. What'd you think of the verse?
Before, when the album first came out, if you were looking at Spotify and Apple Music, the features were not shown on there. So I'm just listening to a song. I'm just listening to that song, and I'm like, the beat's fire, Future's verse is tight, and I'm just listening to it. And then Kendrick comes on there. And Kendrick's tone, his aggression, just made me say, I know this is about to be bad. Did he just say For All the Dogs? Oh, God. Wait. Did he just say Prince outlived Mike Jack? Ugh. And so I'm like, that's clear as day shots at Drake. Direct shots. And, part of me to begin with was like, okay, maybe this is Kendrick trying to, do another Control, trying to bring competitiveness back to the hip-hop game, which is what he did with Control. Mm-hmm. But then I was just like, the venom that he's rapping with, this kind of feels a little more personal. And then I realized he only took shots at Drake and Cole. Mm-hmm. Control was everybody. Well, I guess Melly Mel got a shot, too.
I don't think that was a shot at Melly Mel.
He said, I might diss Melly Mel, too.
If I had to.
This feels like something that warrants a legit response from Drake. And then, just knowing how much Drake responds to everything these days, yes. I was just like, even if Kendrick was coming with a playful tone, yes, I think Drake is at least going to respond.
If either one of them do not respond directly and separately, I'm going to be pissed. But before we get into the response strategies and the scenarios that could play out, let's get into some of the verse itself. Let's talk about some of what was actually said. Yeah. Kendrick said, "These niggas talking outside of their neck don't put no coughing out of their mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat." Ooh. Hey, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better.
The last one is better.
Say there's a lot of goofies with a check. Is he calling Drake a goofy?
I mean, what is check? Like, you talking about Twitter check?
So no. So a lot of theories with that is that if you really think about it, Drake, people think he's corny, obviously, but then you got the Nike affiliation, Nike check, Nike.
Okay,
right?
I can kind of see that.
It could possibly be a little double entendre there. It's possible.
All right.
And then he says, I hope them sentiments symbolic. My temperament bipolar. I choose violence.
Ooh, okay. That's just good raps.
Whew. Okay, let's get it, bro. It's time to prove that he's a problem. Niggas clicking up, right? They cannot be legit. No 40 water. That one is, I actually had to look that up.
What does that mean?
That's a whole scheme. Like, E40 used to be with a group, some dude named Be Legit. This is West Coast. It's West Coast stuff. Okay. West Coast stuff.
Okay. I didn't get that one. Yeah.
Most people didn't. And then he goes, sneak dissing, right? First person shooter.
Which is direct.
I hope you came with 3 switches.
Ooh, so what does that mean? Why 3? Don't you mean 2?
No, I think I don't know. I think it has to do with the fact that a first person shooter is a game. First person shooter, like for example, Call of Duty.
First person shooter. Yeah. First person shooter. Yeah.
First person shooter. You're come with 3 switches. 3 switches in your first person shooter. He wants violence. That's all.
Oh, okay.
It don't got to be that deep, right? I don't understand this one at all. Got 2 T's with me. I snatch change and burning tattoos. It's up. Lost too many soldiers. Not to play it safe. Why is he doing this? He's going off right now. Is he not?
It's just, look, like I said, it's good raps.
And then he goes, If he walking around with a stick, it ain't Andre 3K.
Now I heard that something J. Cole said, he walks around with a stick or something like that. So that's
Talk to me about that. What do you mean by
I
that?
don't know. I just heard they said J. Cole said that on the song, that he walks around with a stick. So that's supposed to be a direct J. Cole diss. That's the direct one.
I thought the first person shooter one was pretty direct too.
I mean, that's direct at both of them.
And he says, think I won't drop the location. I still got PTSD. Mother F the big three. Nigga, it's just big me. That's direct shot at Cole.
Yes.
He's the only one claiming that big three-ish.
No, I mean both of them. Drake
has never said big three a day in his life.
Okay, well.
Never. I mean, unless, am I wrong?
All right.
All right. So then he goes, I'm really like that, and your best work is a light pack. Nigga, Prince outlived Mike Jack.
That's
bum.
That's Drake.
For all your dogs getting buried, that's a K with all these
Drake.
nines. He gonna see Pet Cemetery.
Whew. Have you ever seen Pet Cemetery, by the way?
I have not, actually.
Very, very good movie.
Actually did not know that
Very
was a
good
movie.
Yes. Hell yeah, what? What I will say is,
Okay, go ahead.
Drake called himself Michael Jackson. He always calls himself Michael Jackson. Biggest since Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Got more ones than Michael Jackson. So
Mhm.
I understand fully where Kendrick Lamar was trying to take the shot at with Michael Jackson and Prince.
Do you though? Because like I told you, I'm not sure if that lands that hard because most people think that Mike Jack is a better artist than Prince. So you saying you outlived them, are you trying to say your music is going to outlive his music? Because isn't Michael Jackson's music outliving more regarded
but
than Prince?
he's pretty much saying like, I don't care that you think you're Michael Jackson of hip hop.
I get. I mean, I think the verse is phenomenal, obviously, for various reasons. And I told you this too. Like, I think the shots were mainly at Drake, which I think we all can agree on, right?
I mean, he did direct. Like the For All the Dogs was directly Drake.
Yeah.
First Person Shooter was direct. Because a lot of times when I hear these diss songs, I try to see the difference between direct disses and like not so direct disses are vast.
Yes.
That's important to acknowledge.
That is true.
So like when I heard First Person Shooter, Michael Jackson, For All the Dogs, that's direct shots at you.
And he literally said,
You know what I mean?
set it all up by saying F sneak dissing.
Yeah, and he says,
And then
exactly.
he went into
And
the
then he does
directness,
that. So
which I think is fire.
that's-
How do they move forward? You know what I'm saying?
If it was like, here's the thing about the hip hop game these days. Responses to disses don't always come in the form of music. Sometimes it can be Instagram post. Sometimes it can be Twitter post. Sometimes it can be going on live, right? How many rappers have we seen go on live and diss somebody, right? It can be a Stitch or whatever. All of these streaming, right?
Wait, Stitch. What the hell is that?
Was it Stitch?
You mean Twitch?
Twitch. There you
Oh,
go, Twitch.
I'm like, okay, got it.
So it can be all these things, several different ways somebody can respond.
Right.
If Kendrick's vitriol was not direct, if he didn't bring up direct bodies of work that Drake has done or songs that Drake and J. Cole has done, I would be like, yo, Drake, you know what? Go ahead, send 2 or 3 Instagram stories, send a little Instagram post with a little subtle sneak diss, and this can be all over with. But the direct shots tells me he got to get in the booth and he has to say something. Now, where I am conflicted is, should it be a full-blown song or should he hop on someone else's song, send the shots? That's where I'm conflicted.
If you've been following Drake and Kendrick for their whole career, you would know that there was smoke, right? I came in
You
here.
said it.
I came in here and I
called it.
told you that there'd been smoke for a minute. They just been kind of like, it's been like a little subtle, right? Think back to Control days when when Kendrick dropped Control. If you remember, Drake had a sit down with Elliott Wilson back when Elliott Wilson was doing like, coming up and doing his thing, having like live interviews on stage. Drake sat down with them and addressed the whole Control-ish.
He didn't like it.
And he specifically said, yo, I saw Kendrick after and said, yo, what was that about? And he said Kendrick was like, nigga, it's just rap. Drake from that moment said, I didn't respect the shot because Kendrick essentially caught pleas in his eyes. And that if he really wanted smoke, he should have said something more directly or stood on it when I saw you. From that moment, I was like, okay, they got tension.
Drake was the only one out of the crew that got offended by that. Well, but like
That didn't- that-
outwardly got offended by that. I mean, I believe if I'm not mistaken, Kendrick took shots at Big Sean, and that's Big Sean's song.
He took shots at everybody. Jay Electronica,
yeah,
Cole,
like, you know,
everybody.
And it was just like, you know, and most people kind of took it as tongue in cheek, just like nothing, right?
But guess
Drake,
what? Though? I don't agree. I don't agree with taking it tongue in cheek, because if this is truly competitive and this is a sport like everybody likes to claim and it's not physical, he was waging war then. When it comes to how they're going to respond, I think Drake has absolutely no choice but to hit Kendrick where it hurts. He got to find some type of way to really get at him. I don't think he should drop his own song. I think he got to be like a feature verse. I think it got to be the same exact way that Kendrick shot at him, because here's what I'm thinking. If this is chess,
which artist is going to agree?
Bro, Drake got minions. Come on. He can find somebody. It's not hard.
Who?
You want me to name?
Tell me right now somebody, a big time artist. Because he can't hop on
guess what? It's
Lil
not,
Yachty's song. That's not going to work.
That's not true. It cannot be, and I think it won't be a lyricist. It got to be somebody who's like not considered a lyricist, like Future, right? So it got to be like some trap dude. That's how Drake is going to do
Offset.
it. Whereas
Quavo.
Cole, on the other hand, I don't think Cole is going to give him a whole verse. I think Cole going to give him like a couple bars. That's what I think.
Cole.
I don't see Cole doing a whole.
We've said
joint.
this. Cole has to respond. Like Cole has. I've said this. Cole's responses to other rappers have been very passive aggressive. You know, Cole has big boyed other rappers like, you know, Diggy. Which, like I said, I told you I think Cole's response to Diggy was appropriate, right? I didn't love Cole's response to Lil Pump. I did not love Cole's response to NBA Youngboy. But like you argued, you know, they're not lyricists. You know, like they call him out, but they're not lyricists.
They're not on his level.
Kendrick Lamar is a lyricist.
On God.
So like, do not think you can just big boy Kendrick Lamar.
I agree with you.
Drake is going to respond. Period. Drake will respond, whether it's subtly, whether it's whatever. He's going to respond. J. Cole, I'm not sure. Drake is going to, I told you this the other day. I said Drake is going to respond for 10 years to come now.
Listen,
like this is he's going to be sneak dissing. He just adds it to the list. He's like, Pusha T, okay, I got this song for Pusha T. You got this song for, Drake's going to respond. I'm afraid about Cole's response.
Let me tell you something, man. You know, I as a Cole guy, I'm a Cole guy. I consider myself somebody who favors Cole in the quote unquote big three, right? And I'm here to tell you, man, everything you said or your criticism about Cole, there's some truth to a lot of it. A lot of it. The questionable ways he's treated a lot of them, the friction and beef he's had, he's failed the mark a lot of times. This is, to me, one of the first, if not the first time, where I've seen somebody that is a direct peer of his give him shots, direct shots. And so if he does not respond, given the crazy run he's been on for the last 2 years in a direct manner, I personally think this will be a stain on his legacy forever. People are going to remember this exact moment and say, oh yeah, you say you're the GOAT, you've been talking big and bad, but like when somebody checked you, what did you do? You didn't say anything. This is a moment for him.
It is.
And if he doesn't meet the mark, yo, I don't know, man. He going to be number 3 for good in this big 3 that he keeps talking about.
I think they're cool. Like, I think more so Kendrick and Cole are cool. That's what's probably happening in the background, but I don't want to see that. I want a direct diss. You know, almost like Eminem on 8 Mile, his freestyle on 8 Mile. I'm white. I am a fucking bum. What can you say about Kendrick?
See,
like you know, Drake's antics about like, you know, Drake's antics of like, yo, I got your baby mama on this. Kendrick ain't on that. You can't say his album sucked.
Real quick, you know what I can
people
say?
I mean, people are saying Mr. Morales. They call it Mr. Golden Corral and the Big Steppers. Like, you can't say his album. At the end of the day, you can't say his album sucked.
That's hilarious.
You can't say he's a bad rapper.
You know what you can say though? The only knock on Kendrick's entire career has been his lack of consistency. You can point to the fact that you think you the GOAT, you think you that dude, but like you can shoot at the fact that he's not a consistent artist. And his last album didn't slap.
But how?
His last album didn't
That's
slap,
what
so
I'm
he's
saying.
coming off. He's
But
coming off a downslide. You can point to every 5 years you drop an album, and the last one you dropped was a dud.
But then,
Are you really that nice? For the raps.
I would call
just
it
like
a dud.
just like when Kendrick said, and your best work is a light pack.
Your best work is a light pack.
Who is he talking to?
If he's talking about,
He ain't talking to Cole because 2014 is his best
Yeah.
work. That ain't no goddamn light pack.
If you're reading this, it's not too late.
that
That's
a
a great
is that a light
body of
pack?
work. Take care is not a light pack.
That's my point. So he's exaggerating.
But I think it means light pack as it's soft. Maybe I don't know.
All right,
But
hey.
it's going to be very interesting to see how they respond. Sneak dissing culture.
Oh yeah.
But I think people have been going crazy. Drake particularly has been going crazy with the sneak disses. You know, I told you when you first got here, the ramifications of the sneak disses he was doing on Her Loss is starting to show his face. Drake throughout that album was throwing shot after shot, and even the shots, there were some direct, but then there were some that, you know, I think the people he was dissing knows what he was talking about. It's annoying at times that people are not being as direct, but then at the same time it's tight sometimes.
I mean, I think.
Do we need more directness, or is sneak dissing the way to go?
Look, I think we need both. I think both is important, right?
Okay.
And I'm not saying that to be politically correct. I genuinely believe that, and I'm saying that because I believe the sneak dissing keeps the intrigue of the artist, and it's not the artist, but just the fans as well. Like the way we receive music, it causes us to read into the lyrics. Like, who's he talking about? Oh man, who's he talking about? Man, that's cool, man. But like, he could have been talking about 3 different dudes. And on top of that, you don't want to be taking direct shots on like singles.
Exactly,
Bro, like
That's what I was gonna
those
say.
type of things don't
I was
age
gonna
well.
say.
At the end of the day,
Exactly.
these dudes are making music. You're in the music
Exactly.
business. This is the problem with the game. The rapper, the game.
Yeah.
He has dated a lot of his music by mentioning people's names directly. And I think that like there's a bit of foreshadowing I feel like you kind of need to have to see how that might not look good 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I don't think it aged well. That's my opinion.
Doesn't age well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that it's important to keep sneak dissing if you got issues and not say people's names for that
'Cause
matter.
It doesn't mess up the flow of the song.
Don't make this the
It
full song.
doesn't, and yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But on the flip side, there does come a point now where you see things coming to a boil and there's clear tension and friction that needs to be alleviated. And you got people like Cole who've been talking about he's that number one, he's Muhammad Ali of the big 3. You know, you got all these people out here questioning who's the guy. I do think that at a certain point you got to separate yourself, and that's when you got to be direct. So that's why I really respect Kendrick and what he did.
Kendrick is pretty much saying, I'll mess up your song, not mine.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
I've been saying this.
100%.
I've been saying that Kendrick,
And-
we mentioned this topic.
Yeah.
Where I said, you know, Kendrick Lamar, his albums, they're so divine to him that he's not going to put a diss on an album.
Especially now when we
his.
mention names.
So like he goes on songs like Control, he goes on songs like Futures. I'm gonna say what I really want to say on those because my discography is just too crispy clean
too
to like
important
be.
for my-
It's
the
too
craft
important.
of the art.
It's too important. So that's interesting because it's like maybe Kendrick is this killer rapper that just happens to have a great discography.
Oh, we know Kendrick is that dude.
It's hard to it's really hard to figure out Kendrick because Kendrick Lamar, even on his albums, he speaks from the perspective of like this alter ego at times. I don't know if that's how you really feel. You know what I'm saying? Like on To Pimp a Butterfly, I don't know if that's his thoughts. I don't know if this is just him speaking on the perspective of black people in general, or if that's how he really feels on To Pimp a Butterfly. A lot of times I find myself hearing his verses and I'm like, does he really feel this smoke towards these guys, or is it just like he's tapping into this fun alter ego, competitive alter ego? But
I will say this real quick. I mean, I think that like even if you look at the verse right on Like That, where he's literally saying y'all are not like that and I am. I mean, why can't people just be dynamic? Kendrick literally said, I'm bipolar, and this time I choose violence.
at the end of the day, it's like maybe that side comes out in the raps, and then like behind closed doors, maybe he's saying something different. Maybe he's saying, I just got competitive to these guys, right? But that's the thing about sneak dissing that's so interesting. So many areas of sneak dissing and puzzles are outside of the music. A lot of it is stuff we are not privy to. Like I'll be remiss. We didn't even talk about Future versus Drake. Future sent shots, and apparently they don't like each other now. And I think theirs, if I were to guess, stems from all the stuff happening in the background. They're claiming is because they dated the same girl or they smashed the same girl, and like which I would have never thought Future would get in a beef because of a girl.
That's why I don't believe it. If this is true, that it's about a girl, I blame Drake.
I would have.
I could 100%
never
see
thought
Drake
that would happen.
getting emotional about
yeah.
a joint.
Yeah, but
anyway,
the sneak dissing, the sneak dissing with Metro Boomin. I don't even know what that's about, but like it's clearly something behind closed doors. And then you start to tap in, and now Travis Scott and does Nav. There's so much going on in the background, and I think we're privy to what's going on in the background through sneak dissing. That's the thing that's annoying at times, but also it's actually interesting. It's like a puzzle. You gotta figure out what the hell's going on here. Yep. You know what I mean?
So do you have a problem with sneak dissing though?
I think if it's excessive, like Drake has gotten excessive with his sneak dissing. Like Her Loss, I was like, yo, dog, like you too many shots. Way too many sneak dissing shots, like that anybody can be offended about. And then he followed that up with For All My Dogs, and it's just so many just naming your song Virginia Beach, like even though you didn't even say anything about Pusha T, but like naming it Virginia Beach, like it's just a little that he's saying. Oh, maybe he is actually saying this.
Even what will Pluto do?
What will Pluto do? Why did he say that? I have to think about that. Like so, I think he does it a lot. Drake is a competitive dude. I know Drake will answer whatever challenge. He's a very competitive dude. So like if Drake wants to sneak this and do what he does, cool.
Hopefully these guys actually respond in the way we think.
As much as I want to see these people go at each other,
please don't do the kumbaya shit.
I was gonna say,
don't do it.
Let them do that.
Don't do
but
it.
Like, please don't. I still down the line in a year or two. Let them be cool still. Because we don't need Drake and Future, their history together. That actually saddens me that those two are beefing.
Yeah.
Do you know the only Grammy as a lead artist Future has is Wait For You with Tim's and Drake? Like,
crazy. That's
the only Grammy he has. Life Is Good. Remember how like just feel good that song
was a crazy song.
I look back at Future's album catalog. Drake is literally on every single one of his albums.
Yep.
So it's like, that one's sad. I don't want to see that go left field.
I came across a clip recently. Bryson Tiller sat down with like somebody at Complex, and he was like, he said something real interesting. He said, man, I think beefs are destroying music. And I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And he essentially went on to say there's a lot of people who beef behind the scenes, writers beefing with producers, rappers beefing with rappers, and we not getting a lot of music that we supposed to have gotten because of beef.
That's a good point.
Bryson might have been on to something. It's funny that happened right before this this little napalm of a missile that
there's so
Kendrick
much
dropped.
There's egos.
Listen to the full episode. Link below.